Hello, my name is Trevor Gordon. How are you? I do media relations and community engagement. I'm excited because I have the opportunity of doing interviews with a lot of the quarterfinalists that are part of an event called Verse to Voice. Verse to Voice. Verse to Voice is Canada's premier singing-songwriting competition. The goal being is to find amateur talented singer-songwriters, showcase them, and allow them to network, perform, and compete for great prizes. The competition actually has been underway for a month now, And last week was the exciting news that all the quarterfinalists were announced. And you can actually find all the quarterfinalists on the Verse to Voice Instagram account. I'm actually giving you homework right now, or actually giving you a moment right now to stop what you're doing, put me on pause, go to Verse to Voice on Instagram and give them a follow. I'll wait. Joking a little bit. But yeah, go to Instagram, Verse to Voice, Verse the number 2 voice. Give that account a follow, whether you're watching now live or you're watching the re-record, and follow that account so that you see all of the quarterfinalists that are involved with Verse to Voice. So today I'm actually having the opportunity to chat with one of the quarterfinalists that are part of Verse to Voice. We're going to have a chat with Jayda, a remarkable young talent. She's barely 17. Jayda has been captivating audiences with her singing since a young age. Her passion for songwriting ignited at just age 9 years old. And she was profound with the ability to spin thoughts, feelings, and ideas into competing lyrics and melodies, drawing inspo from diverse range of artists, Stevie Wonder, Elton James, Daniel Caesar, to blend all that together to create a unique sound. So she's performing professionally since age 12. And her impressive resume includes appearances in film, TV productions, and live performances at notable events such as Kensington Jazz Festival and the Port Credit Winterfest. You can catch her wowing crowds at her weekly house gig every Sunday at the Terra Inn in Scarborough. What a bio. So we're going to invite so we can have her join us.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. We might want to rotate you a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, it kind of looks funny
I
there, doesn't it?
mean, it's a cool vibe.
Let's try and do this. Okay, I might just have to hold it. That might just be
Got
a little
that,
bit.
and we got a nice artwork behind
Yeah,
you. Did you do that?
I think, yeah, I was gonna say that someone I knew painted it, but I don't think that someone I know painted that. I think we just bought that at like Winners or
Hey,
something. But yeah.
hey, I like the honesty. You could have said, "Hey, I drew that myself," but no, you shout out to winners.
Yeah, I was this close, but I'm like, will they believe that I'm a songwriter and a painter? I don't know.
Hey, I think I got this from a gift. Like the frame, I think came from IKEA, and it could be winners too. But you know,
Maybe it
all good.
was
Well, I
IKEA.
appreciate you joining us this
Yeah,
evening.
of course. Thank you for having me.
So the first question I have to ask right up the gate is, what was your first reaction when you heard that you made the quarterfinals for First to Voice?
I was really excited. It's actually the first like competition that I've ever entered vocally or writing wise, and it was really cool that it happened. The first one I entered into happened to be like a writing competition. So yeah, I was really excited. I was really
That's
excited.
awesome. What motivated you to be a part of First to Voice?
Um, just the fact that like I feel like writing is something that I've kind of kept to myself for a really long time. I go to a performing arts school, and I feel like not even a lot of my closest friends and like people that I spend every day with know that I write, and it is actually a big part of like what I want to do when I'm older. I'm just in high school right now, but it is what I want to do when I'm older, and I feel like I've been keeping it to myself. So I was like, you know what? It's time to like, I think it's time for me to actually put myself out there a little bit because who's gonna know if you don't actually try, right?
Right. Well, I have to ask you as well. I mean, did you have any fears? Like you come across very confident at such a young age, but did you have any fears or hesitation for applying for this?
Definitely. I actually knew, like, I saw their ads on Instagram probably like 2 or 3 weeks before I actually submitted. And it's not like I forgot or like I procrastinated. I like filmed takes, multiple takes every single day. And I just was like, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. I remember literally the calluses on my fingers from playing the guitar chords probably for 3 hours straight for like days, and I just didn't find any takes that I liked for a good 2 weeks. And I didn't submit my take that I did until I think it was like 2 days before the deadline or the day before the deadline. And I was like trying to for the entire time. And at some point, my parents came in and they were like, Jada, you've sung this song like 200 times and you're making us not like your own song. Please just submit it, please. So yeah, I ended up finding the take that I didn't hate like a day before the deadline, which is funny. So yeah, I was really nervous. I don't really post anything ever, so that was like a big thing for me for sure.
Well, as you've been talking, I don't want to ignore what you're getting a lot of support in the chat room. You're getting comments. Someone named Sherry says, yes, Jada. Laura says, yes, yes, she should. I'm assuming that's in reference to you applying. Laura also writes, singing in class every day meant something. A friend of mine, Alina, is actually watching a live, and she's cheering you on. So again, for those that are just joining us, we're talking to one of the quarterfinalists who in her bio says you just turned 17.
Yeah, I did. End of March. So I don't know, it was like just, but yeah, I'm far
So you're
from being
17
18.
years
So
old, you're a quarterfinalist in Verse to Voice. You're getting a lot of love in the chat room. Talk to me about the song you submitted. We've obviously heard that you did a lot of attempts to make sure it was correct, but why that song? Talk to us about the song that you submitted.
um, the song that I submitted, well, I've written multiple songs. This one is my favorite though, um, from like an emotional like aspect because I just have it has so much more meaning to me than other songs, and like I'm really connected to that song, which is part of why it was really hard for me to like put it out there because it's like your baby. It's like that's mine. I'm not gonna, um, but also it's as a songwriter it was what I was most happy with because I really try to like make all my songs like a story. Like I want it to all make sense and I want every lyric to be connected to the other lyrics and it for like it to all end up in the same place. Like I want it to all support each other. I don't want any filler lyrics is what I call them, like when you need something else so you just say something random. I want it all to mean something. Um so that song like as I was writing it and still when I sing it like every lyric and every moment that I'm singing about, I can still see it. Like I could still feel it and picture it in my head. And that's what I feel like. I know everyone writes differently, but for me, visualizing what you're talking about is so important because if you can't see it, then I feel like you don't really believe it, right? And I want to believe what I'm singing about and I want to like feel a connection to it. And I feel like that's also why like a good song is a good song because if you can see it and you can visualize it and feel it, it makes it that much easier for the people that are listening to you to connect to it and to feel it and see it in maybe a different picture, but at least in their own way. Like I think it's so important for people to be able to see the song, like if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's why I submitted that one. It's just closest to my heart and um, it just is what I feel like it was a big step for me as a writer as well.
Wow. For those that are just joining us, we are talking to one of the quarterfinalists. There's a lot of people watching this live. Thank you all for watching. Jada, I mean, you're coming across really confident. You're only 17 years old. What was the moment that said to yourself, I want to become a singer-songwriter? Was it one moment? Was it multiple moments that gave you that goosebump feeling that I want to become a singer-songwriter?
I was always like a singer. I think I was singing, if you ask my parents, I was singing since I was talking. But I started writing at 9 and I started really writing at like 11, 12 because I was going through a lot like at that time, like with mental health stuff. Um, I had like really bad anxiety as a kid. And it was part of why I actually ended up being homeschooled for a long time. I was taken out of elementary school. There were multiple reasons, but my mental health was a big one. And I was just dealing with a lot, and I didn't really have, like, there's singers will say, like, oh, I sing for, like, themselves so that it's an outlet for them. But it felt like at a certain point, like, the lyrics that I was connecting with in songs, it just wasn't saying what I needed to say, like, and that I didn't know how to say at a young age yet. So I played a little bit of guitar and I already sang, and I sat down and I was like, I need to get this off my chest somehow. And I don't want to talk to anyone, and I don't want to cry, and I don't want to, like, I didn't know how. So it ended up just being a sit down and write about it and just sing words that weren't invented yet and that weren't a song until they made sense and they were what I was trying to say and what I was trying to get off my chest. So that was a big outlet for me. It was how I expressed myself a lot of the time. The first song I ever wrote was about, like, having, like, mental health things at a young age and, like, being bullied at a young age. So that was like an outlet for me. It's how I, like, kind of a help call a little bit. But also I had a lot of, like, inspirations, like Sarah Bareilles, who wrote Waitress. She's also just an incredible songwriter. Stevie Wonder, Elton John. There were so many, like, writers that I was like, oh, I just want to be like that. So that as well.
We have a lot of people watching us live right now. I really want to make sure that they all know to add Verse to Voice on Instagram. I'm assuming you've been telling your friends to do this, but I'm wanting to make sure I'm telling everyone watching live, everyone that's watching the re-record, go to Burst to Voice on Instagram, Burst, the number two, Voice. Give that Instagram a follow. Be sure to check out all the quarterfinalists, but for sure check out Jayda's profile where you can hear her song, read about her, see her Instagram account, write as many comments all her friends are saying. Just give that support to all the finalists, quarterfinalists. Omar writes, I witnessed her singing last year at Kensington Market. She is brilliant with a wonderful soul. Someone else writes, one of the best singers I've ever heard. Nappy writes, such a creative and inspirational artist. She's one of a kind. Another person writes, Jayda just gets better and better. Someone else suggests you should do a feature with Playboy Cardi. Laura writes, so deserving of this. Clean Beauty writes, superstar, Canadian superstar in waiting is our Canada's Taylor Swift. Daniel, who is, by the way, one of the competitors who's against you, is saying, you go, such a talented artist, love it. So I have to ask you this, Jayda. I know you're 17 and maybe you haven't been in many competitions, but have you seen such a thing where all the people you're going against are sending love and support to you?
I mean, I haven't been in a competition, so there's nothing for me to compare it to. But I definitely was expecting, like, a more competitive environment because at the end of the day, it is kind of, there's only going to be, we can't all be at the finals, right? So you'd think that it would be more competitive. But I guess, like, because it's not just a singing competition, it is a writing competition. I think that we all have, like, a mutual, like, respect, and we're a little bit, like, even inspired by each other because we can acknowledge each other's art without comparing ourselves to it because it's just so different. Like, we're just all going to be different. And I think that, especially because it feels like such a small world, when as a writer, like, there's so many singers, but, like, I find it's so hard finding people to write with and, like, finding writers that I can connect with like that. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air, like, just seeing these people putting themselves out there and, like, and seeing what they, like, can bring to the table. And there's so much talent in this competition that I'm like, I'm a fan. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a fan of, so, like, of Daniel. Oh my goodness, I've listened to his song probably like half a dozen times. No, half a dozen times too. So a dozen times, and I love his song. And I guess that I'm not against him. I'm definitely not against him. I'm going against him. I guess our songs are going against each other, but, like, he's amazing, and there's so many amazing people in this competition, and that can be acknowledged without me being worried about throwing my standings off with it.
It's been so cool for me to watch from the outside looking in. I think you touched on Daniel. I think Daniel is doing a collab with one of the other competitors. I think they're both working on a song during a fact of a competition.
I
So
just
while
saw
they're
that
in a
today,
competition,
yes.
Daniel is now collaborating with one of the other. It's just such a beautiful thing to
It
watch.
is. I saw that and I was like, oh, it's okay. I'm sure that you just missed my inbox and you just forgot to invite me, but that's fine. It's okay.
And
I won't take it
and
personally.
missed mine too, because I'm such an inspiring artist. I feel like now I need to become a singer because I'm learning so much as a rookie. Looking at you, all of you are giving me such goosebumps having these conversations. What is a song that you really like that might surprise other people?
I've been listening to the other interviews and I'm like, some people are saying legit like, oh, this song by Elton John that was released and whatever, and then I'm hearing the We theme song too. So like a funny one would probably be, and it's really catchy. If I don't know if it's just a Canadian thing, but it's always on the radio that Alpine credits where homeowners get approved. That I think it's awesome. I think it's brilliant. It's in three-part harmony. I'm singing it the rest of the drive. What do you want? I mean, that's writing right there. But probably like a genre in general that people would be surprised about. Not my friends that I go to school with, but I go to like a theater school, so I'm a complete musical theater nerd. I probably know every show that's been at Mirvish in Toronto for the last half a decade, and have probably wanted to see all of them. So anything from Waitress, from Rent, from Hamilton, anything like that, I can rap the entire Hamilton soundtrack, start to finish, without stuttering, the entire thing.
Wow.
So that for sure. And I guess I have to because I'm at an art school, a theater school, and I'm writing a musical right now. So I'm like taking bits and pieces. I'm like, oh, maybe if I took a little bit of this and added this instrumental and waited for this song to be in the second act, like I'm just learning a lot from watching a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Why isn't that in your bio that you can rap the entire, like that is such a humble brag. That is
I don't know
awesome.
if it's humble. I think if you can watch Hamilton like 50 times in your lifetime, then you have a little bit too much time on your hands, and I did. So
So many comments are flooding in. By the way, the person that mentioned the We theme is in the chat right now, and she's fighting for the We theme song on top. But I think she agrees with your song choice. She says your choice is a banger. A lot of people know you from your theater. Yes, our theater girl. You know, someone writes, "This is intimidating, impressive. How good you are." Rent, someone's shouting out plays. Rent is so good. Someone's saying that you should do a duet. Like you're getting a lot of support in the chat room. Make sure you're all following Verse to Voice on Instagram and sending that love to her on the quarterfinalist page. What would you say to someone who has never heard your music before? Well, clearly, you have a lot of support in this chat room, and there's a lot of people watching live and watching the re-record. So putting your family and your fans and your friends aside for a moment, talk to the audience that has never heard you before. What would you say to them?
um, I'd probably say like my music is pretty. It's almost like a movie for me. I'd say it's all about like being able to see a song and like feel a song from having that image in your head. Like when I sing like a verse or a chorus, I want someone to be visualizing what this story is about and how it relates to them and what's going on and what the actual deeper meaning is. So I'd say if you're trying to like really listen to a song that is a story and that has no filler lines, nothing that doesn't make sense, um, that's just really from the heart and really raw stuff, then this might be a song for you, or these might be songs for you. But right now it's one because we only submit one. But yeah, I'd just say if you're looking for that kind of that, I don't even know. People are like, "What genre do you sing?" And I'm not sure if it's R&B or if it's like indie or if it's pop. Like I'm not sure what it is, but I just know that it has a special place in my heart, and that it's a story for me, and it still takes me on a journey every time I sing it, and I hope it does for other people. So
What do you hope to achieve with being a part of First to Voice?
I really just hope that I get a little bit of exposure, because I've never tried to, so I can't say that I never have because I've never tried to. But I do hope to take that extra step, that like new step to get my music out there, be seen a little bit by people that are like me, like people that want to do what I want to do and people that have done what I want to do. And also just making like some connections and friendships, because I've just been dying to have people to like write with and who relate to me and what I want to do and how I express myself through music. And that's why, like I said before, even though we're going against each other, like our songs are going against each other, I I think the biggest win would be just making these friendships and these connections so that like we can all like learn from each other, because you never really stop learning in music. Like there's never you can never learn enough about it because there's just so much. And it's just so nice to see that from like real life, real world people in Canada, because there's nothing like this in Canada. Like I know there is in the US a little bit, but I've never seen anything like this here, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So I'm just hoping, yeah, some exposure and some connections for people that I can relate to.
Just a reminder to everyone that's watching live and to everyone that's going to be watching the re-record. Jayda's 17 years old. I repeat, she's 17 years old. The way you've been talking during this interview, I can't put into words. You give such great answers. You can hear how passionate you are. You come across very genuine. You are really awesome. I love your energy. To those that are watching again, I'm sounding like a broken record, but I don't care. Be sure to follow Verse to Voice on Instagram. Verse, the number two, voice. Verse to Voice on Instagram. That's where you're going to see all of the quarterfinalists, including Jayda. And basically, oh, someone's writing, stop telling us her age. She feels bad. And you're getting a lot of support. So basically, yeah, go to the Verse to Voice Instagram account. That's where you're going to see all the quarterfinalists, including Jayda. You're going to hear all the songs that everyone submitted. You're going to read a bio about them. You're going to read about all their Instagram accounts. So now, Jayda, I give you the last word. How can we connect with you? How can we hear your music? How can we, like, give us your 411 ways that we can interact with you. Talk to the world right now.
All right, so I need to set up a Facebook, but I don't have Facebook yet. Right now, the main ways to find me, like on social media, is Instagram, which is its underscore Jayda, Jayda, or on TikTok. I just started that one, so it probably looks like a fake account, but I really do. I just started it, so don't judge me too hard. But it's at Jayda Shaye, Jayda Shaye. I did not just forget how to spell my middle name. I just was taking my time. But yeah, those are the main two places that you guys can find me. And my TikTok is more for music. So if it's for music stuff, you probably want to go to the TikTok.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for doing this interview with me. You are crazy awesome. You gave such great answers. I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you to everyone that's watching the live, and thank you to everyone that's going to watch the re-record. Thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good
Bye.
night.